There is a boundary on our planet that separates the world we know from a world we were never meant to see. If you dive down, past the coral reefs and the schools of tuna, past where the submarines usually stop, you eventually hit a line. Above this line, there is sunlight, there is warmth, there is the cycle of day and night. But below this line, the rules of Earth no longer apply. Here, the water exerts enough pressure to crush a human lung into the size of a soda can. The temperature hovers just above freezing, and the darkness is absolute. For a long time, humanity assumed this place was a desert, a lifeless void where nothing could possibly survive. We called it the abyss. We were wrong. It is not empty, it is crowded. But the things that live here have changed. To survive in a place where nature is actively trying to kill them, they had to become something else. They had to twist their bodies, expand their jaws, and evolve capabilities that seem like glitches in the code of biology. We look at them and see monsters, nightmares dragged up from the depths. But down here in the midnight zone, we are the aliens. And the deeper we go, the stranger the story becomes. Our journey begins in the mesopelagic zone, also known as the twilight zone. Here, the sun is just a memory, a faint, ghostly blue glow that isn't enough to support plant life, but is just enough to cast a shadow. And in the ocean, a shadow is a death sentence. If you cast a silhouette against the faint light from above, predators looking up can see you. You become a target. So, evolution came up with a terrifying solution: invisibility. Meet the Macropinna microstoma, the Barreleye fish. At first glance, it looks like a biological impossibility. Its head is a transparent, fluid-filled shield. You might think those two small holes above its mouth are its eyes. They aren't. Those are its nose, olfactory organs. Its actual eyes are the two glowing green orbs buried inside its own skull. These eyes are tubular, like high-powered telescopes. They can rotate to look forward or point straight up, scanning the water above for the faint silhouette of prey. The green pigment in its eyes acts like sunglasses, filtering out the sunlight so it can spot the bioluminescent glow of jellyfish. It stares through its own brain to see the world. This creature represents the first rule of the deep. Nothing is what it seems. To survive here, you must abandon the standard blueprint of a fish. You must become a ghost. But the Barreleye is just the welcoming committee. As we descend past 1,000 meters, the last photon of sunlight vanishes. The twilight zone ends. We are now entering the midnight zone. Welcome to the bathypelagic zone, the midnight zone. This is the largest habitat on Earth, and yet we know more about the surface of Mars than we do about this water. Here, the primary challenge isn't just the darkness, it is the crushing isolation. Food is so scarce that finding a meal is like finding a lottery ticket in a desert. This scarcity has forced animals to evolve into what we perceive as monsters. Take the humpback anglerfish. It is perhaps the most famous icon of the deep, for good reason. It is a creature made of nightmares. Its skin absorbs light, making it nearly invisible. Its mouth is disproportionately large, lined with translucent needle-like teeth that fold inward. Once prey enters this mouth, there is no reverse gear. But its most famous feature, the glowing lure on its head, hides a darker reality. This light is produced by millions of bioluminescent bacteria. The fish provides them a home. The bacteria provide the light, a symbiotic pact made in the dark. However, the true horror of the anglerfish isn't how it hunts, it's how it mates. In the vast emptiness of the midnight zone, finding a partner is almost impossible. If you find one, you can never let go. The tiny creatures you see attached to the large females are the males. When a male finds a female, he bites into her skin, and then he never lets go. Over time, his lips fuse to her body, his eyes dissolve, his internal organs wither away. Eventually, his blood vessels merge with hers. He ceases to be an individual animal. He becomes nothing more than a parasitic sperm factory attached to her side, living off her nutrients for the rest of her life. It seems cruel. It seems disturbing. But nature doesn't care about our morality. It only cares about survival. And in the midnight zone, survival requires sacrifice. But there are things down here that make the anglerfish look ordinary, things that defy the very physics of life. As we push deeper, the animals stop looking like fish entirely. Meet the gulper eel. It has no ribs, no pelvic fins, no swim bladder. It is essentially a stomach attached to a mouth. Because food is so rare here, the gulper eel cannot afford to be picky. Its jaw is loosely hinged and can swing open wide enough to swallow an animal larger than itself. Imagine a snake swallowing a basketball. That is the daily reality of the gulper eel. But the most unsettling thing about the deep ocean isn't the predators, it's the anomalies. In 2020, researchers off the coast of Australia discovered a creature that broke records, a giant Siphonophore. It looked like a galaxy spiraling in the water. This is not a single animal, it is a colony. Thousands of tiny individual clones called zooids connected together, functioning as one massive superorganism. Some clones are designed only to eat, others only to reproduce, others only to float. The one they found was estimated to be over 150 feet long, longer than a blue whale. It has likely been drifting in the blackness for decades, perhaps centuries, quietly growing, silently waiting. It raises a question that scientists are still struggling to answer. If creatures can grow this large, undetected, in the shallow parts of the deep, what is waiting for us in the trenches? What happens when you go to a place where the pressure is 1,000 times greater than the surface? We have mapped the surface of the moon with incredible precision, but we have mapped less than 20% of our own ocean floor. The creatures we have met today, the barreleye, the anglerfish, the gulper eel, they are just the ones we have managed to find. They are the ambassadors of a world that constitutes 95% of the living space on our planet. We call them monsters because they don't fit our understanding of life. They are jagged, dark, and terrifying, but they are perfectly adapted to their world, a world of eternal silence and crushing weight. It reminds us of a humbling truth. We like to think we are the masters of this planet, but we live on a tiny, thin shell of rock and air, surrounding a massive, dark ocean that we are utterly forbidden from entering. The next time you look at the ocean, remember, you are only seeing the roof. The real house belongs to them.